right, in this video, I want to step through the answer to question 1.7, so the very last question on this lab. So I'm going to kind of step through what we've been doing. So we started off with a pretty big, so here is the object distance is the distance from the lens to the object, and our object was that mesh grid. What we have been doing is moving the lens closer and closer and closer to the object. And what you can see happens as I move the lens closer is that this image here is going to get bigger and farther away. So as I move it closer, it gets bigger and farther away. And as I start to get really close, it gets really big and really far away really quickly. So what's going on here is, and let's get mini rays instead of our little ray diagram. So here's all the rays that are exiting this lens and or exiting this object. And this converging lens takes these rays that they're spreading out, and it takes this diverging packet of rays and it focuses them. So they're spreading out and they're actually converging together when they exit the lens. And as I get closer and closer and closer, I want you to watch what's happening right here. It's officially happened. Is that these rays are now, they're never going to cross. Okay, so there's a spot where there's never going to be a spot where we will observe a real image. We'll never be able to put a screen somewhere and find an in-focus image. Okay, and actually, where there's a spot, so right here, right, we can't see it, but we can see that there will be an image at some point. As I get a little bit closer, they're still coming together. And a little bit closer, right here, I think, is where they stop coming together. They're exiting, and they're exiting this lens, so they come from the object through to the lens, and they exit the lens, and these rays are all parallel to each other. And actually what you can see here is that this pencil is smack right on top of the focal length of this lens, okay? So any closer, and now the object is inside the focal length of the lens, and now they're spreading out. So as long as the object is outside the focal length, these rays will be converging to form an in-focus image somewhere. But as soon as you get to right here, where the object is right on top of the focal length of the lens, now there's never going to be an in-focus image before. There will never be a real image anymore. It turns out that there is an image, it's a virtual image, but that is not something that we can observe with a screen. So we will save that for next week's lab. And so as you're doing this, I think we started with an image distance of say 25 centimeters. And I kind of quickly got to where, man, I did this in my dining room. I had to go all the way to the other side of the kitchen in order to be able to find the in-focus image once I started getting close to the focal length. Because as you can see, this image, it gets really big and it also gets really far away really quickly. So at the end, as you're going from 25 centimeters as your object distance, only step it by maybe 1 centimeter at a time. So you'll be 25 centimeters away. So this distance will be 25 centimeters, and then this distance is 24, and then 23, and then 22. And eventually, I mean, the image here is going to get so dim and so far away that you won't be able to see it. And that is, yeah, that's the explanation for question 1.7.